Hey guys, today I'm going to go over a common question that's asked. Should I rent or should I buy a property? And so this will, of course, depend on where you're at in your life and income. But I just want to give you a brief rundown of all the numbers that you can expect when purchasing a property and living in it. So let's just take a $300,000 house and 20% down payment. So the property tax on this house will be around 1% or so. It depends on which state you're living in. For example, New Jersey, it's around 2.4%, but California is around 1%. So that will be about $3,000 a year if it's a $300,000 property. Maintenance costs to the cost to basically make any repairs and maintain the property is about 1 to 2% per year. It could go up to 3%, but those are the typical numbers. So I'm just going to say round it to like 1.5% of 300,000 is around 4,500 per year. And so that's the number I'm going to use for maintenance. Homeowners insurance, is about 0.45% per year. It really depends on what insurance you choose. Obviously, if you bundle it, you could save a lot more money if you bundled like car and home insurance together. But that's about $1,350 per year. Interest paid, if it's a 3 to 4% interest rate, which is a pretty typical for nowadays interest rates, that's about $600 to $800 per month. It's amortized, which means every year it's actually going to go down because you're paying off the principal of the house. But over the first couple years, it's around $8,000 a year, or $600 to $800 per month. So then moving on to landscaping, that's around $60 a month, or at least that's what I pay, about $60 a month. So that's about $720 per year. And then closing costs, those are the costs you pay to close the deal and close on the loan that you get from the lender. And that's usually around 2 to 5% of whatever the loan value is, whatever amount the lender is lending you. So in this case, it would be 80% of the $300,000 because you only put 20% down. So then you take 80% of 300,000 and then you multiply that by 2 to 5%, and that will be your closing costs. So let's just say the typical closing cost is around $9,000 in this case, so about 3%, I'm assuming. And then we divide that over the course of 3 years, and that ends up being $3,000 per year. Now, the reason why I'm dividing it over the course of 3 years is I'm trying to compare renting to buying. So a typical renter might rent for maybe 3 to 5 years, right? So I'm just going to compare renting for 3 years versus buying a house and paying the costs associated with that for 3 years. So the grand total of all of the costs here is $20,570 per year, or about $1,714 per month. So you can see it's actually a sizable amount, especially if we purchase a $300,000 house. If you were to purchase something like a $600,000 house, well, multiply that total cost by 2. So you get around $3,400 per month. So you can see this could add up, especially if you buy a house that's much bigger than the space you need, right? Your dream home, like you get out right out of college, or you get out in the working life, and then after 3 years or so, you purchase your dream home, which is, typically a much larger house than a starter home. And so this basically leads you to paying several $1,000s a month toward that. So one thing is you're actually not including quite a few things in this calculation. You're not including supplemental taxes. If you sell the house, you pay a 6% commission toward the real estate agents to help you sell the house and do the contracts. You might want to remodel the house. So if you want to remodel your kitchen or your backyard, your patio, your garden, whatever, that there's a lot of costs associated with that. And then if you were to buy like a lower cost house, like $200,000, what you would do is multiply by 2/3, because it's 2/3 the price, and so that would be around $142 per month, and you can see this is a lot more reasonable if you were to purchase a much lower cost property versus renting. Renting is more of like $800 to maybe $1,300 per month. You can get even cheaper, depends on how big the space is, obviously, but you can see like purchasing a $300,000 house versus renting, it makes a lot more sense to rent, because either way, these are costs you're never getting back. Like, you're not getting back your maintenance costs, your property tax, your interest, all of that. That's costs that you just pay no matter what. Same thing for rent. You pay that cost and you're not going to get it back, obviously. So, this hopefully gives you a good idea of the real costs associated with owning a property, and you can compare it to renting a property, right? And in the link below, I will actually put a link to a calculator from the New York Times, and I believe it's actually one of the best calculators out there to calculate should you rent or should you buy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and please leave any comments below about your takeaways. Thank you.